Thank you, Fortet. Kieran is the fellow's name. Always, always gets it right. No artist, maybe, is more consistent than Fortet. All right. So, it's Thursday, March 7th, 2024. And, hey, Vish, we're going to watch the State of the Union. Now, I want to get here. Let's share this tab. So this is C-SPAN, and I'm hoping we don't get booted for sharing C-SPAN. I figured C-SPAN, right? If I can't share C-SPAN, what's it all been about, right? What has all this misery and poverty and dignity been about, sir? If I cannot look at AOC in the back. Wow. It's funny how it's always, like a little party. It's always festive. Ted Turner? There's AOC. Oh, that's funny. She looked right at the camera. She knows where it is. Look at her. She's posing. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I guess she's nice looking. The way that Mexican girls are nice looking. Greetings, visionary. God, she loves that red lipstick too. We must return to a time when a girl wearing bright red lipstick is not to be taken seriously. You can do it. It's alluring, but you're not to be taken seriously. There goes the lights. The origins of red lipstick, don't you guys? I think it's Roman era, and the prostitutes would paint their lips to make it resemble a vagina and advertise fellatio. So, that's where that comes from. All right, so we're waiting for the president. Visionary, you're wrong. Baboon era rough display is right now, unfortunately. And you see it, right? I like a big booty, I cannot lie, but this is outrageous. It's out of control, and it's just a weird experiment. We're rats in a lab. Whose laboratory, right? We are rats in a lab, humanity, right now. And you see the girls, right? All of a sudden their breasts are out here and their butts are out here. Someone observing us, right? Somebody's up there. Maybe it's just a ladder of intelligence, and there's just Russian nesting dolls of intelligences, right? We don't see that which is above us, and they don't see that which is above them. But the guys above us are watching us, and right? I'm curious what's happening to the rats/humans right now. Look how their asses are, Somebody could write that out as a good sort of really highbrow comedy bit, a fake paper about treating the rise of the giant buttocks as one would treat a laboratory rat study or anthropological study. Yeah. There's only one of you out there, maybe two. Oh, okay, so let's watch now. History.
The joint session will come to order. The chair appoints as members of the committee on the part of the House to escort the President of the United States into the chamber. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. The gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Rogers. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Delbene. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Neguse. The gentlewoman from Illinois, Ms. Underwood. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Escobar. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Trahan. The gentleman from Michigan.
Really? They read off everybody's name? That's
The
insane.
President of the Senate, at the direction of that
No.
body, appoints the following senators as members of the Committee on the part of the President.
Why can't she ever get her voice right?
President of the
Come on,
United States
sweetheart.
into the House chamber. The Senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The Senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The Senator from Washington, Mrs. Murray. The Senator from Michigan, Ms. Stabenow. The Senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar.
They're all awful.
Senator from
They're all
Virginia,
awful.
Mr. Warner.
Oh, God. All those people, like the
Senator
last
from
4 or 5 in a
Wisconsin,
row. It's
Ms.
awful.
Baldwin. The Senator from Kentucky, Mr. McConnell.
Oh, God.
The Senator from South Dakota,
The
Mr.
corpse from
Thune.
Kentucky.
The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The Senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito.
What the fuck?
And the Senator from Iowa, Ms. Ernst.
Mills.
The members of the Escort Committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
I admit I didn't even know how it works. I don't know if I've ever watched one of these from the start. Hi, Kamala. You know, I would still would, yeah. But then my standards are bad. I'm no spring chicken. But yes, Kamala. I don't care, baby. Ruin the country. I know it's wrong. Tom Anderson says something. Are there protesters? All right. So any minute now, we'll be hearing from President Joe Biden on his 2024 State of the Union.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
This is his big moment, whoever this dude is, right? Normally a faceless bureaucrat, whatever. Look at this guy. So strange. The curious rituals of the Americans. Tom reports earlier a group of pro-Palestinian protesters blocked the presidential motorcade. I did not see that. Thank you, Tom. Oh, God, I'm watching, this is like car crash radio, television. I'm just waiting. Yeah, I actually don't want to see Biden screw up. As much as I despise him, at this point, it's pointless. And that's a anti-Semitic trope, Tom Anderson, and I'll have you thrown the frick out of here for that, man. All right? Fuck around and find out, all right, Palestine? Fuck around and find out, man. Sorry, Tom. Every now and then, Ben Shapiro inhabits my soul like in The Exorcist. Oh, come on. Oh, watch, he's not going to show up. To order. This is funny. And look at Kamala. I'm just going to...
The Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
Oh, let's see what happens here, right? They're not very popular with the Democrats. Light applause, no boos. Where are they? All right. There's Roberts. Robert's not a bad-looking older dude. I guess. Sonia Sotomayor, she looks sickly. She's not going to last that long. Kagan, she's going to go forever. She's like a big heifer or something. And she's just going to last forever. Unfortunately. Kavanaugh. I like a beer now and then. What the fuck about it, man? He's there. It's not all of them, though, right? God, it's like a party, man. They're going to be like this no matter how bad things get. Like next year, it's going to be worse than it is right now, which seems horrible. And they're going to be having their little party. It's weird. It's like Mask of the Red Death. Fuck. so. Maybe Biden is blocked. He's delayed. I'm looking at the split screen on CNN. It's not really telling me anything. Apparently, Biden is not in the building yet. Kegs, Kavanaugh, Keg. Brian Kegger Kavanaugh. All right, there's Ketanji Brown and one of the older liberal judges, maybe Stevens. Of course, was it just the other day, in a 9-0 decision, the Supreme Court shot down Colorado's efforts to ban Trump from the ballot. And everybody is trying to spin that even the, 4 liberals, and I think there are 4 solid liberals here, they all felt compelled to vote no. Visionary says the growers of knees. Hint, hint. What do you mean, man? Love be the answer, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, I love how brothers are always like, peace, man, love, man, and it's always these guys who look out. Right, in between that peace, love talk, they might knock you out. King Kush asked, did boomers or ex-gen invent beer bongs? I'm a boomer, and I know they were there around when I'm a young end of the boomers, and I know beer bongs were a thing when I was young, a kid. So beer bongs actually come from way back. At least silent generation. There were some drinkers. Right? They didn't have all these pharmaceuticals, and marijuana was really for the Negroes and jazz artists. There was a lot of drinking. And it'd be fun for somebody who knew about an expert, if there is such an expert, but somebody to study, what possible difference between what alcohol, how people behaved in an alcohol-dominated environment compared to how we behave now. Just, on the basis of, what's the difference between our different narcotics. Kush boomers, well, I don't have a generation. I'm a leap year baby, so I fell in between 2 generations, and I don't have to claim any generation. I have a postmodern point of view regarding generation. Look at them. They're just, that looked like that George Santos character who was recently, I guess he got booted. This guy got booted out of the Senate because he was full of shit on a bunch of things, but, right, George Santos, how did they get away with booting him out of the Senate? People elected that asshole, anyway. Look at this guy. Here's the ultimate politician. Look at that dude. That's what you would want to look like if you're, well, not like these characters, but these characters, unfortunately, they've been there forever, these two. I think that's Murkowski, or what's her name from Maryland, and Lindsay. Here they are, the 3 ladies. Who are these 3 menopausal women? Is Joe late? I think he is. It's 6:04 on my watch. Greenwich Mean Time here, and Joe is not here. Visionary says Tim Scott will be Trump's running mate. I say no, I will be Trump's running mate. King Kush says they all look high on perceived power. Interesting. Bunch of people on their phones. It's, this crowd might get restive This is funny. This is like a concert crowd, and maybe they'll start rioting, throwing shits at the stage if Joe doesn't show up soon. That would be awesome. And that would be a fitting end to the empire right there. Just, okay, whatever happens, God, let this be the end. Let's close her down on this comic note, on this tragic comic, ridiculous note. Look at it. And those are our leaders, and a bunch of women there. I think that a lot of the women are wearing white. Maybe there's something going on. All right. Something seems to be happening. What do you mean, Federico? Some sort of subversive let life happen? What the hell is that supposed to mean, man? Judge Roberts is talking to some old dude. A lot of bored people. Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz always looks smug, doesn't he? Gaetz is one of the least objectionable politicians to me. It's curious to me how many people are really skirting up against the issue. You know what the question is. Name them, sort of thing, right? Who dares go and not even necessarily, I'm talking about politicians or mainstream media figures, not name the you-know-who, but just go right up to it and just implicitly talk about the issues we have with Jewish power, right? God bless her. Who's the black elfin-looking black girl, right? Candace Owens. Candace Owens is daring Ben Shapiro to personally come down there and try and Gaza her. She is right up on it without saying anything explicit, but talking about all of the issues that, yeah, it's funny. And I see people, Candace is all right. I mean, I like her. I mean, they're all grifters maybe, but I'm looking at this woman and I'm thinking, what I'm seeing with this person is an honest evolution. Same with Tucker, but there's no excuse for Tucker. Should I turn this down until the president comes? There's no excuse for Tucker to be as dumb as he is. And he is, I think, kind of dumb about things. And he's really flirting with, they're going to be going after China, and they're going to try and get everybody worked up about China, right? So we can go to war with China, which is how this all ends, fellas. And Tucker and a lot of other people are open to that. Yeah. That's funny. That's a two-panel cartoon sort of thing. Like a stone toss, right? Or like, name them. I can't name them. Name them. No way, man. I can't name them. Are you crazy? Name them. Okay, it's the Chinese. Well. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's what's happening now. Can't name them. We'll go after Chinaman Sam. No, man, no. I'm so unproud of this country. Look at that creature. Look at that. There it is, right? He's like absorbing the, he's barely keeping his eyes open, but he's reading something on the screen, and he's just registering, right? And he's like this reptilian half sleep. He's supposed to be on a warm rock in the sun, but he's doing he's getting by. Maybe he's got an app on his phone for lizard people, right? And it's giving off heat. He's just barely getting through this. What am I talking about? That guy's never seen sunlight in this miserable life. I think Kamala looks lovely tonight. I want to see her up close. I know she's anyway. what they, the old joke is just so true that politics is show business for ugly people. Oh, that's the husband in the middle of Kamala. Frederico says Candace libs are the real racist Owens. Yeah. What was the old joke? I would rather live next door to Thomas Sowell than to. Candace Owens is the new Thomas Sowell. And that a lot of people who are, like I said, kind of behind things are talking about how awesome Thomas Sowell is. Yeah, I don't want to be that way about Candace. She's nice looking though. Weird way, right? King Kush says, Modafinal incoming. Oh, there she is. I mean, really, it's just shameless that this woman, she's a doctor no less, Whoopi Goldberg said, a fine doctor. Nonetheless, she lets her husband, Jill Biden, she lets her husband go through this farce in public with this probably, it can't be good for this old man's health to be going through whatever the hell it is he's going through right now. Right, guys? Seriously. Sorry, I'm called to order.
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Wait a minute. What the fuck long does this shit take? So, yeah. There's who's really running the country? This dipshit, the failed pop musician. I'm forgetting his name. What the hell's this guy's name? Help me out. Visionary, I challenge you to a duel because you insulted Kamala Harris. I'm going to fight you in her honor, sir, and she's going to see it. She's going to see me a victory over you. She's going to be overcome. She's going to come to me in the night. Tom Anderson asks, will Kamala become president? And MILF nationalism, that's what's next. Because all these women, yeah, right? Women just get power, what democratic power is allowed, right? The people who are allowed to influence things are overwhelmingly women, right? Like white guys, straight guys, right? They're all discouraged in one way or another, sometimes openly. And if it's women, we're on this roller coaster with women then. If women are determining the way things go, we're going to be entering a new territory as they all go through menopause. Like Hillary, the reason, there's booty check. The reason we were stuck with Hillary Clinton, you look at Hillary Clinton and they're talking about her like she's some sort of brilliant person. And she's not, clearly not when she talks, and her record is awful. And why? Well, Hillary Clinton got there first, and a lot of women grew, a lot of boomer women grew old with Hillary Clinton, and were personally invested in, I've known some of these, and personally invested in her success, and were pissed when she didn't make it, I assume. Yeah. Art Bell. Art Bell in the house. Pantsuit Holocaust. Pantsuit fascism. Yeah. Fucking Mayorkas. That is the worst. Just fucking lizard people. Awful. Horrible. There's Yellen. Who is the guy, Secretary of State? Somebody refresh my memory. I'm blanking on his name. But people are saying that he's the closest thing we have to a president. He's running shit. These people behind Biden, I guess Ron Klain is still his chief of staff. You notice with administrations, often as not, the chief, they get shaken up. And at some point, like midway through, like, hey, look, James Brown is still alive. Hey, James, let me tell you, Reverend. And, you know, like around the midterm mark, a bunch of people lose their job and you know, new people will come in, often the chief of staff himself. Not with the Biden administration, because it doesn't fucking matter with this. Oh, but I'm wrong, because Tom Anderson says Ron Klain isn't chief of staff anymore. Another is. How dare you, Tom Anderson? I'm going to throw you out of here for trafficking in anti-Semitic. Well, it's the State of the Union address, I guess. And I thought 6 o'clock. Oh, is that Boebert? Well, well, well. Is that Lauren Boebert? She looks very serious. Yeah. You know, it's just sad that we don't have any representatives in there. There's nobody representing us here. Look at, that's Lloyd Austin, and he's telling everybody how he got away with going to the hospital for a week. You know, the punchline is, and then nothing happened, of course, right? Blinken, thank you, King Kush. Anthony Blinken. You know, if only he had made it as a recording artist. Just as Hitler was a mediocre landscape artist, I guess Blinken was a mediocre guitarist. I don't know if Hitler was that bad or not. Tom Anderson says Jeff Zients is the new chief of staff. Well, that's better. That's great. Yeah, and what's happening right now is really funny and awful. You've heard about it. We're going to build a temporary port in Gaza to bring relief supplies directly to the Gazans. It's a curious situation. And of course, it really represents our failure, right? Because Israel's just saying, no, we're not going to let up. Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Okay. Oh my God. Don't get confused, Joe. It's just a lot of noise. Oh, pretty girls, yes. They smell nice, don't they? Oh man, it's gonna take him so fucking long to get through the... Yes, Art, I'll be back in Portland before winter, before next winter. Probably in the summer, I'll be back in Portland. And I'm gonna shake things up. Fuck, no. Fuck. I don't know what they've done to him to animate him. He looks okay. No, God, please, people, just get him to the stage. Chuck Schumer behind him. Some old gal escorting him in. This is gonna, oh my God. So it'll be another half hour of this, I imagine. Do you think they gave him Adderall? What do they give an old guy to pump him up? Who knows what they're doing? This guy's probably his own lab experiment right now. Oh, fuck, this is so... Keep looking this way, God, it's so horrible. And there's a camera on the floor. You shouldn't have cameras down there like this camera angle here, right? So horrible. Look over here, Mr. President. He's being cheered on by his fellow Democrats here. Hey, Negroes love me. Look at this. Oh, yeah, Ginger. Who's that? Tom asks, Dennis, what do you think of Marjorie Taylor Greene? Well, she's certainly not our friend now. She's someone who has potential to go rogue. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's probably talking shit about Israel. I don't know. Where does she stand? I haven't been paying attention. But, you know, basically anyone who's standing hard with Israel sucks. And that's, of course, vast majority. Oh, look. There she is. I'm sorry. Marjorie Taylor Greene. What did she say? I'm an idiot. That's hilarious. Marjorie Taylor Greene challenged him wearing a MAGA hat. That's funny. All right, well, good for you, Marjorie. She's saying Laken Riley? Fucking A. Somebody shouted out while he's speaking. Laken Riley. Fuck Joe Biden. Laken Riley. Fuck Joe Biden. You know, right? Why can't they come up with better chants at those rallies? I just pulled that one out of my ass. The lefties always come up with these awful chants. I'm so sorry. I was actually looking away at the delay screen, reading that, and I missed that remarkable moment when Marjorie Taylor Greene challenged Joe in her MAGA hat. It's just no use, Marjorie. He doesn't understand a feckin' word, right? He's just really the smells are making more sense to him right now than the words. Look at the profile of Schumer. I'm not going to say anything, and I hope you anti-Semitic fuckers for thinking what you think when you look at that profile of Chuck Schumer. Jesus. This is going to literally kick all night. Why do they even... Fuck this. I hate America. Oh, who's that babe? All right. He's like, hey, baby. I like little MILF action. Oh, they treat him like a baby. The way they come up to him, it's like, oh, you're going to be fine. You're going to be good. You know, it's not. He's clearly a totemic, like a, right? Look at this ridiculous figure. This is not an august presence, man. This is not a, right? Oh, God. And the chant, 4 more years of this. Fucking America, right? I just hate this country so much. I can't stand myself. I hate my country so much. But come on, man. We have to, there's Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah, sorry about that vote, man. Hey. Thank you. Just shake his hand and let him go. Don't talk. I don't remember it being like this, where like cameras are swarming and everybody's just swarming. I don't like the way you do things, America. I don't like the way you do things at all. But this is, you know, like this must be important. I mean, it is certainly important. And look how old everybody is, not just Biden, right? There's Pelosi, who should be done. She's been spacing out for years. But people get in positions of power, I don't think they hold that power entirely because they know they're cunning and experienced and all that. They hold that power because the people behind them, people who are advantaged by them holding power. And these guys are bought so cheaply, man. Every time you hear about money changing hands, it's profound influence being bought for pennies on the dollar. The Hunter Biden laptop stuff. Virtually every time a business has successfully bribed one of these guys and got legislation, right? Bribe the guy for a couple $100,000 and get a change in the law or something that nets you millions upon millions of dollars. Democracy sucks, man. The Port Moody kid says, why aren't you blending in and live streaming live from the floor? They wouldn't let me in, so we're outside. We're in the annex right now. They thought our presence there would distract from the president and the whole spectacle. All right, here we go. Let's get ready to bumble. What's with all the white? See a lot of women wearing white. Sex thing. Some anti-sex thing. So they're really giving them the cheers here. Oh, these Democrats. Must be. Who stops clapping first? Stalin-esque sort of moment. Can we sit down for feck's sake? Look at Kamala. Okay. You clapped like a seal, girl.
Good evening.
She's tearing up. Jill Biden.
Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now.
Oh, God. It's going to be a routine. Okay. I just want you to keep your expectations low.
Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans.
Oh, God, he's shouting. That means something regarding medication. Somebody fill me in.
1941.
What does it mean when they shout like that?
Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation. And he said, I address you at a moment
Fear itself.
unprecedented
Here we go.
in the history of the Union.
Oh, my God.
Hitler was on the march.
Oh, my God.
War was raging in Europe.
Yes, sir.
President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time.
Oh, my God. We're over
Overseas,
here and Putin over
Putin
there.
of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond.
We're the axis of evil
If
along
anybody
with
in this
Putin.
room thinks Putin will
That's where he's
stop at
going.
Ukraine,
Fuck
I
you.
assure you he will not.
Oh, God. Don't.
But you
Please,
can't.
just look at Kamala. What a
Ukraine can
zombie.
Stop Putin.
Do you know how you look,
Ukraine
girl?
can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons
No, stop it.
that needs to defend itself.
You're already pissing me off, Joe. Stop it. Holy fuck. What a bunch of dorks.
That is all.
State of our
That is all
Union.
Ukraine is asking.
And he immediately
They're not
starts
asking for
shouting
American soldiers.
campaign
In
trail
fact, there are
bullshit.
no American soldiers in war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. Wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Now, Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote.
This is supposed to be a
Former
state of.
president actually said that bowing down to a Russian leader, I
We're
think it's
getting a
outrageous,
cheap
it's dangerous, and
political
it's unacceptable.
campaign speech. And he's supposed to come and say, hey guys, I'm reporting on the state of the U.S., the Union. That's what it's supposed to be.
America is a founding member of NATO.
This is going to go on and on, too.
The military alliance of democratic nations, created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. Welcome Finland to the alliance. last
Finland!
year.
That is so fucking
Just
ridiculous.
this morning, Sweden officially joined.
I have people in
and their
Finland, you
minister is here tonight.
fuckwad.
Can they stand up?
Oh, here's a Swedish dork.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the madhouse. Welcome to the monkey house. It's a
And they know how to
blast.
fight.
Everybody who teams up with this
Mr. Prime
really
Minister,
has a
welcome to
positive
NATO,
experience.
The strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress. We have to stand up to Putin.
Putin.
Send me a bipartisan national security
Why in the
bill.
fuck would he be talking about Putin,
History
even
is
if he was
literally
that
watching.
bad?
History is watching.
Yes,
The
he's
United
watching.
States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk,
What's the
emboldening
hand
others
doing?
to do what
Get
they
that?
wish, to do us harm.
He's going to glitch out.
My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
God damn it. Now, is anybody in America clamoring for this? Really?
I will not bow down.
This is so appalling. Look at.
In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching.
People should
Just
walk
like
the
history watched 3
fuck
years ago
out.
on January 6th. When insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol
Oh,
and placed
see?
a dagger to the throat of American democracy.
It's Putin and
Many
it's
were
us, the
here
deplorables.
on that
We are
darkest of
the
days.
axis,
We all saw with
the
our
axis
own
of evil,
eyes.
the axis of
The
white
insurrectionists
supremacy.
were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a gravest threat
Oh,
to
he's
U.S.
getting-
democracy,
boom, boom.
such a civil war. But they failed.
What the fuck? He really blew that line. Oh, they
America stood.
failed. America stood. Look at Johnson. He's got to sit there with that and give his.
America
Funny
stood
look.
strong, and
That's what you
democracy
get, Johnson.
prevailed.
Speaker
be
Mike
honest.
Johnson.
The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that.
People don't buy
This is
it.
the moment to speak the truth.
People out here
bury
don't
the
buy this
lies.
bullshit about January
Here's the
6th.
simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
This is, yeah, well, you guys don't love the country when you win, especially when you win. You really fucking inflict a lot of shit. That's hilarious.
As I've done ever since being
What?
elected to office,
State of the
I
Union
ask all
address.
of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office is defending against all threats, foreign and domestic.
Oh my God.
Respect free and fair elections. Restore
Civil
trust
War,
in
all
our
that Civil
institutions.
War talk. Here we
Make
go.
clear political violence has absolutely no place in
Oh,
America.
right.
Zero place.
BLM, George Floyd, right? What is the white?
Again,
By the way, they're supposed to start out by saying the State of the Union
it's not
is
hyperbole.
something
Suggest
good,
history is
bad,
watching.
whatever. He didn't even
Watching.
say the line. He
Your
didn't say the
children and
fucking
grandchildren will
line.
read about this day and what we do.
This is
History's
embarrassing,
watching
says
another
Virginia.
assault on
This is why I hate this country. I
Joining us
can't
tonight
help
is
it.
Latoya
Why would you
Beasley,
love this?
A social worker from Birmingham,
Nothing
Alabama.
could be like this. This
14 months ago.
we are not
14
good.
months
We
ago,
are
she
not
and
a
her
good
husband welcomed
force.
a baby girl
Sorry.
thanks to the miracle of IVF.
Oh, God.
She scheduled treatments to have that second child.
Oh, we're talking
The
about
Alabama
medical
Supreme Court
procedures.
shut
You
down IVF treatments across the state.
deserve to die.
Unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade.
It's just going to
She's
be an
told her
angry
dream would have to
tirade
wait.
after one talking
What her
point or
family got through
another.
should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer.
Jesus.
Guarantee the right to AVF.
The right to
Guarantee it
IVF?
nationwide.
Please stop it. What the fuck? You're going to start talking about period poverty and shit now? Please stop it. You're supposed to soar. Lead.
Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader defending reproductive
There's nothing
freedom.
going on at the moment with abortion,
much more.
right? But they're bringing it up because that's one of their few genuine winners. You know, women like them's abortion. And so we're going to hear a lot about this
Predecessor
shit.
came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted.
Have you talked
us
about the
tonight is
nation,
Kate
the state of the
Cox.
nation yet?
The wife and mother from Dallas.
Oh.
She's become pregnant again and had a fetus with a fatal condition.
Oh,
Her
fuck
doctor
me.
told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk. if
Yeah,
she didn't
girl
act.
bossery.
Because Texas law banned her
No,
ability
it's
to
just
act.
appalling.
Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well.
And an old model
It's
of
happening to too
decorum.
many others.
You wouldn't
There
be
are state
talking
laws
about
banning the freedom to
fetuses
choose,
like that and stuff.
criminalizing doctors.
By the
forcing
way,
survivors
did you
of
see that
rape and
hideously
incest
ugly woman on the
to leave
left-hand
their
side of the
states to
screen?
get the treatment they need. Many of you in this
I
chamber,
think that's Maria
and my
Shriver.
predecessor, are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take
My
away?
God.
Look, it's a decision to overturn
So
Roe v.
funny.
Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power.
No
Excuse me,
shit. This is our
electoral and political
misfortune,
power.
asshole.
You're about to realize just how much you're right about.
Hey. Yeah. We're gonna, yeah, no. Okay. That's the first thing you said that makes sense.
Clearly,
And this is pressuring the Supreme Court, which has to sit there through this. Fuck this.
clearly,
We have to, sorry, Kamala, sit down, sweetheart. Sit the
those
fuck
bragging
down.
about overturning Roe v. Wade
We
no
have to stop
clue
you,
about the power of women.
Women's.
But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
See, and this is so horrible. It's just a bad campaign speech
If you, the American people,
that hasn't once
send me a
addressed,
Congress that supports
again,
right
the
to choose, I
condition of the
promise you,
country. Like,
I'll
what kind of
restore
shape's
Roe
the
v.
country
Wade
in?
as
That's
law
the
of land
idea.
Again.
Poor Kamala. How many times you're going to have to stand up? Poor
America
Kamala.
cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses? Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus?
What?
It took more than 1 million American lives of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American
God
people. the
damn
duty to
it.
care.
This is just,
I think that's unforgivable.
no,
I
at this
came
point,
to office determined to get us through one of the toughest
people need to
periods
start
in the
shouting.
nation's history. We have.
Republicans,
It doesn't make news.
Large
but
March,
news in
Marjorie Taylor
1,000
Greene,
cities and towns. The
Lauren
American people are
Boebert.
writing the greatest comeback story never told.
what a lot of horse shit. So what we're getting is the state of the Biden campaign,
Let's tell
right?
the
What they
story
think they're going to
here.
run on.
Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make
This
every
is
sure
not
everyone
gonna
has a
work.
fair shot. We leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used
Fuck
to beat
COVID.
cancer,
COVID can't touch
turning
me.
setback into comeback. That's what America does. That's what America does.
So now he's trying to inspire. Okay, by saying we won COVID.
Folks,
Gotta hope people aren't falling for any of this
I
COVID
inherited
horse
an
shit.
economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record. A record.
God.
Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small
I don't even
businesses.
care
Each
about the
one is a literal
numbers,
act
even
of
if they
hope.
were right.
With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans.
Oh, man.
800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before.
Jesus.
The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world and tending lower.
He's definitely not sleepy. He's in.
The landing is and will be so.
He's at 100% right now.
And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs,
I think they put
we're
him in a
exporting American
hyperbaric
products and
chamber when they
creating
really have to
American
get him
jobs.
prepared.
Right here in America, where they belong.
God, this is just so awful. And we're adding 10 trillion in debt every fucking
And
day.
it takes
It's,
time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy
Is it?
America has been the law of the land since the 1930s.
what?
Past administrations, including my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers. Creating good-paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of
Okay.
having to import them, instead of private companies
No,
are
no.
now investing billions of dollars to build
God.
new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree.
Okay. God, it's so lame.
In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America.
He's so angry, just furious, right? Everything's like an angry man defending
thanks.
himself.
And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000
And his
new
supporters
projects have
don't
been announced
care,
all
'cause
across
he's
your
not Trump.
communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you
Oh, fuck.
probably
Hey,
voted against me.
Buttigieg, what a
They're
weird
cheering on
shot
that
this
money
is.
coming
Look
in.
at this.
I like it.
Holy fuck.
I'm with you. I'm with you. If any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child
Jesus
can drink
Christ.
clean water without risk of brain damage. Providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in family farms, President
why I
of
hate
Farmers Farms,
politics.
led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know. We're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, a new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those
It's so
cars.
funny.
There at the same.
It's so funny that politics used to be so based on image, and that this guy would not have flown before the Trump era.
The
You know,
folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your
nobody
community's
would
moving
be
forward
like, "Oh,
again."
this guy's great."
Because instead of watching auto jobs in the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Sean Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader.
Sean
Sean,
Fain,
where are
the
you?
Sinn Féin in the house.
And Dawn,
Who is that weird mulatto on the right? Do you see that
And
character?
Dawn
They keep
Sim.
showing him.
a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Sean, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride
Yes,
in doing it as
Federico,
well.
Biden has won me
Showing
over
once
as
again,
well.
Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't
Changing
build
my
it, though.
mind about this
The middle
Biden
class built
character,
the
man.
country, and unions built the middle class.
I didn't know. Why was I misled about this man by you assholes? Fuck all you guys. Oh, what the hell is this? Sorry. Look at fucking
I say to the
Schumer. Should
American
not be out
people,
in public looking the
When
way he
America
does.
gets knocked down, we get back up.
We get knocked down, but we get up again. And you're never going to keep us down.
Thank
This
you,
is so-
the American
Oh, it's
people.
ugly people.
It's
We're
because
too
of
ugly.
You America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly
we-
say
we
the
homely
state of our
love.
union is strong and getting stronger.
Finally, he says the line. You're supposed to do it at the start. Fuck you, Joe. After screaming at us, right? Shouting like an angry old man. It's so stupid. It's just, fuck
Tonight,
you. It's
I want to talk about the future of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over, and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the state of the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation, but I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table. That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it. With a law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to, but what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone. For years, people have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get an Air Force One with me and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, is still a very big deal.
God, this is also wretched.
Over 100
The subject matter of
million
politics
you
is wretched,
can
man.
no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing
Health care and
conditions.
shit. I'm sorry.
Well, my
I
predecessor,
know I'm supposed to care.
and many in this chamber, want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again. In fact,
They're gonna
I'm not
gush
only
over
protecting
this
it, I'm
speech.
expanding it.
The
The enacted tax
MSNBC
credits,
and all.
it's $800 per person per year, reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent. To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady.
She's a doctor, you know. Maria Shriver on the left. She's looking scary now.
Will pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years.
What the fuck, man? These stupid little policy proposals. It's supposed to be the greatest nation on earth, right?
And my administration
A cheap
is
campaign
also eliminating title
stump
insurance
speech
on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance
from a
your
drugged
home,
up old man.
you can
Fuck
save
you, America. I'm
$1,000
sorry.
more as a consequence.
America!
For millions of
Fuck
renters.
no!
We're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents.
He's starting to break down.
We've cut red tape so builders can
Now
get
I wanna
federally
see him
financing,
stumble.
which is
Before I
already
didn't wanna
helping
see him
build
stumble.
A record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I, like I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old.
At least he hasn't mentioned Israel.
You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is.
There's a magic bullet for all of this Negro mediocrity. I'm telling you. God, no, please don't do it, Joe.
I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry, I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them as vice president.
Don't you know I'm a visionary?
I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade.
Oh, fuck this. What the hell? Look at that face.
I'm also
What is this
connecting
shit?
Local businesses and high schools, so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good-paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure that college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions.
Every president
including
finally
Hispanic
figures out
institutions.
prescription drugs and college tuition.
And I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us.
Oh, God.
Keenan, where are
Oh,
you?
here you are there. Got
Keenan,
another
thank
black
you.
dude.
He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college.
Whoa. Can you believe that? How horrible.
And folks, look.
You're supposed to be the president of the greatest nation ever.
Because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business.
This stuff
start a
is for
family.
lower level guys,
While we're
man. You're
at it,
supposed to be
I want the public school teachers
soaring
a raise.
rhetoric, visionary broad strokes.
By the
Anyway,
way, the
I don't
first
know if
couple
I'm
years
going
we
to make
cut
it through this.
the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion.
Have we?
Signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade.
Really?
It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and the very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share.
Oh, Jesus. Of course they cut the AOC.
I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
God, this is so tiresome. It's
A
all
fair
so
tax
tiresome.
code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense,
I'm going
and
to
so
spend
much
another
more.
$60 billion
Here's the
on
deal.
Ukraine, too.
The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history.
It's also partisan.
Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody
Oh, they're going to love this speech.
earning less
This is
than
going to be
$400,000
viewed as
will pay an additional
triumphal.
penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half.
What?
Restore that child tax credit.
I don't believe that.
No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
Come on, man.
Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest
Stop
companies
it, Joe.
in America
Come on, just stop
made
the
$40 billion
bullshitting.
and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy.
Is that true? Unless
I
you're
don't- That's the proposal.
unless you're an
You guys
entrepreneur
don't
who
want another
never
$2
worked
trillion
for somebody
tax
else.
cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2
Now he's
trillion from the
bantering
super
with
wealth.
the
That's good to hear.
Republicans.
I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share.
You going to talk about the border?
Look,
We know that. We
too
know
many
that it's,
corporations
nobody ever
raise
comes and
prices to pad their profits,
drastically
charging more
changes
and
the
more for
tax
less and less.
schedule.
That's why we're
just
cracking down on
bullshit.
corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change
No,
the size
don't.
of the bag.
Don't
and
talk
put a
about
hell of a lot fewer-
shrinkflation. No, fuck.
Same-
It's
same
just.
size bag. Put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass
No,
Bobby
God
Casey's
damn
bill
you.
and stop this. I really mean it.
See, they're going to say this was masterful, and then a little humor. It's perfect, Janine. Keith
Probably all
Olbermann is
saw
like,
that commercial on
good one, Mr.
Snickers
President.
bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got
No
about
more.
I don't know,
He's gonna
10%
go-
fewer Snickers in it.
No, he's working the joke some
Look,
more. We already told the
I'm also
joke.
getting
Move
rid of junk
on.
Fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without
Yeah.
your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8.
JFK got nothing on this orator. Shit, man.
Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30 some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating.
Just with all the good he does, I'm just surprised
Folks at home,
that life seems so bleak down here
that's why
on the
the banks
ground.
are
I
so
don't know.
mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front.
Oh,
there are no
this
surprises.
again.
It matters.
It's petty. It's petty. This is the State of the Union
So is
address.
this.
Let me tell you about cable
In
rates,
November, my
shrinkflation.
team began serious
Fuck off.
negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill
Ooh,
with the toughest set
Kamala.
of border
Look at, she's
security
looking
reforms
directly
we've
at
ever
me.
seen.
Stop it. Who's this
Oh, you
fucking
don't think
corpse?
so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing.
Oh, what
That
is this?
bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration
Spit
judges
and
to help
fury.
tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300
It's like a
more asylum
cat.
officers, and new
You know,
policies so they can
when
resolve
they
cases
spit.
in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
Stop it.
What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing
Oh,
thousands of
yeah,
children.
like over the border.
This bill would save lives.
Okay, we're going to talk about the border now, right?
It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is
Oh,
overwhelming.
yeah.
The Border
Like, it's
Patrol
not
Union
right
has
now
endorsed this
overwhelming.
bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is.
We gotta pass a
You're saying
law.
no. Look at the facts. I know.
Fuck this. No way,
I
man.
know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate
So fucked up.
would endorse the bill as well. A majority right now.
The reason the border's
unfortunately,
fucked is because he
politics
reversed
has
all the
derailed
executive
this bill
stuff
so
that
far.
Trump was doing.
I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the
All
Senate
the
to
stuff
demand
that
they
he could
block the bill.
reverse right now.
He feels political win. He
But
views
no,
it
you gotta pass
to
a
be
law.
political win for me and a political loser for
And
him.
we'll establish a little limit,
It's not about
5,000
me,
a
it's
day,
not
and then
about
the
me.
rules kick in. Like, fuck
I'd
that.
be a
That's
winner.
not the law right now. Is
Not really.
what? Yes. Come on, heckle his ass. Fuck it. Let's just go full clown show.
Lincoln
Say her name.
Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by
Nice.
an illegal.
Look at this.
That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals?
By
To her
illegals?
parents, I say,
What?
my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself.
Oh,
I
nice.
understand. But look,
Marjorie.
if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know
close the
if they get
border.
by- if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years.
That's why
before
we
they have a
fly
hearing.
them in directly from El
And
Salvador
it's worth it
sometimes.
taking the chance of the $8,000.
Fucking A.
But if it's only 6 months, 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money
All of a
and
sudden
come
it gets
all that way,
interesting.
knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
Oh, stop it.
Folks.
Fucking stop it. You got all the power you need
would
right
respectfully
now.
say,
Just enforce the
suggest my
fucking law.
friend- my
Say it,
Republican
somebody.
friends owe it to
Just
American people.
enforce the
Get
law as it
this bill
stands.
done.
And shut up.
We need to act now.
You fucking bullshit artist. Yeah. This is awesome. Everything was going his way, right? Oh, God. He thought he had the crowd eating out of his hand. Ah, ha,
My
ha, ha.
predecessor is watching.
Now it's a little more defensive.
Instead of paying politics and pressuring
Did he
members of
say
Congress to block
undocumented
the bill,
persons?
join me in telling the Congress to pass it.
He also said
We
the
can
phrase,
do it
though.
together. But that's what he
When he was
apparently
stumbling to
here's what he will
respond.
not do.
He had to go
I
extemporaneous.
will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I
What?
will not separate families.
Who said that?
I will not
Oh, this is awesome.
ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to
There
citizenship
he
for
is.
dreamers. And so much more.
Oh, horse shit.
unlike my
There's
president-
no. Yeah.
I know who we are as Americans.
He's forced off narrative
We're
because
the
there's no
only nation
real
in the
support for
world
this
with a heart and
bullshit.
soul that draws from
Everybody's
old and new.
exhausted with the
Home
border
to Native
situation.
Americans and ancestors have been here for thousands of
Oh,
years.
shut the fuck up about the
Home
Indians.
To people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee
Oh, I
persecution.
hate when the Irish try to
chase
play it up.
dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come
What?
from somewhere.
And all them Venezuelan street gangs. That's America. Look at this. There's no enthusiasm for this, even among his side.
Look, folks,
Fuck.
we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it.
Oh, God.
I'm ready to fix it.
Oh, my
Send me the
God.
border bill now.
Why aren't you just doing your job? Remain in Mexico. That one policy, remain in Mexico.
You
could reinstate that?
Transformational moment in history.
Oh, my God.
Happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama.
Oh, we're
Hundreds
going
of
to talk
foot
about
soldiers for
Selma.
justice marched
We're not
across
going to
the
talk about
Independence
Lincoln
Bridge,
Riley anymore. We're going to talk
named
about
after the Grand Dragon of
Selma.
the Ku Klux Klan, to claim
Okay,
their
he's
fundamental
gonna.
right to vote.
Somebody asked,
They were beaten.
will he mention
They're
Charlottesville? It's coming. Yeah,
left for dead.
Charlottesville's going to feature.
Our late friend and former colleague John Lewis was on that march.
We're going to return to the
We miss
theme,
him.
the axis of white supremacy, with us here in America and Putin.
But joining us tonight,
Oh no, please stop this. Who is this woman? Chewing gum?
both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma, the daughter of gospel
She's got to
singers and
stand back
preachers.
up. This poor old
She
woman.
sang
She's going to
songs of
stand
prayer
back up.
and
Don't
protest
stand up. It's
on
all
that
right,
Bloody
sweetheart.
Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months
Fucking
later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law.
Oh, I hope nobody cares. I hope nobody wants to talk about black civil rights now. Like,
Thank
what the
you.
fuck?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But they're going to have to rile up the black people somehow because black voters are important to the Democrats. And they're losing them to friggin' Trump.
But
'Cause,
59
they're losing
years
everybody.
later, their forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression,
That gold
Election
cane is a
subversion.
pimp cane.
unlimited
Gosh.
dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. The John
What the
Lewis
fuck?
Voting Right Act.
Oh. Freedom to vote. The John Lewis voting. Who is this weird looking man? This is the one. This
And
fucking
stop.
zombie.
Stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life.
Oh, yeah.
Banning books, it's wrong. Instead
Oh,
of erasing history,
He's
let's
just
make
throwing
history.
them phrases out there.
I wanna
Banning
protect
books.
Fundamental rights.
Wrong.
Pass the Equality Act.
Equality Act.
Transgender Americans.
Maybe they're wearing
500
white
years
for that
back.
Equality Act.
Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights.
All these stupid bills that don't mean shit.
Raise the federal minimum wage. Because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour.
Is it $7 an hour? No
We're
way.
also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't.
Oh, God, we're all tired of
taking the
that
most
too,
significant
thankfully.
action ever
There's
on climate in the
exhaustion
history
around
of the
all
world.
this stuff, man.
I'm cutting
tired
our
of black
carbon
people,
emissions in
we're
half
tired
by
of climate.
2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs like the IBW workers
Clean-
building and
oh,
installing
God.
500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
No, no.
Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030.
I don't know why the ladies are wearing white. Certainly not because they're
Taking
virgins.
action on environmental justice fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And pattern after the Peace Corps and American
$15 sounds more
launched the
like
Climate
it,
Corps.
right, Tom?
to put 20,000
I mean,
young
the
people
states
to work
established their own.
in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll
I
triple
don't
that
think there's
number
that
in a
big
decade.
disparity between state and federal. Oh.
To state the obvious, all Americans
I want to see Kamala
Deserve the
Harris and
freedom to be
AOC in the White House
America is
together
safer today than when I took office.
because they would be so
The year
catty
before
with
I
each,
took office,
with each
murder
other.
rates went up 30%.
What?
30% they went up.
What was that?
The biggest increase in history. It was then,
What?
through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted
I
against.
don't
I
understand
might
what the
add.
man was saying.
We
Did
made
anybody
the
understand
largest
that?
investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history.
US
Violent crime
Marines?
fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more
Don't
community
tell me that's
police
just a
officers,
crazy jargon.
more mental health workers, more
Mental
community
health
violence
workers for
units.
that guy.
Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime,
Oh,
retail
fuck
crime,
this.
and carjacking.
Oh, did he say
Keep
USS
building
Liberty?
trust as
God
we do
bless
by
it.
taking executive action
The
on
empire's
police reform
coming apart.
and calling for it to be the law of
This
the land.
farce, it's being interrupted. I want
Directing my
another
cabinet to review
interruption.
the
I
federal
want another
classification
interruption
of
from the
marijuana and
gallery.
expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or having on their record.
Whatever the fuck.
Take
Oh,
on crimes of domestic violence.
people are tired of weed.
I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator.
Oh,
So we can
VAWA.
finally,
Violence Against
finally
Women
end the
Act was
scourge against
horrible.
women in America.
What? Finally end the scourge that is the family in America. You know there are still people who marry and take
With us
marital
tonight is
vows.
Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in elementary school in Uvalde.
God,
Texas.
look at that poor woman on the
Very soon
right.
after
She's
that
so
happened,
unhappy.
Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days.
Must be something
We
serious
spent
here.
hours and hours with each of the families.
Oh, I
We
hate
heard
that
their message.
they always talk about
So
this
everyone
shit.
in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours
It
meeting
was
with every
horrible. It
family.
was horrible. Now, let me
They
tell you what I
said,
did to
do
save the
something.
day.
Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the
damn
first
it.
ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House. That the
I'm
Vice
Joe
President
Biden.
is leading the charge.
I'm doing
Thank
shit.
you for doing it. Meanwhile,
Okay, please. Can we just get through this? Kamala City. See, poor Kamala, because she's supposed to be taking over,
predecessor
but
told
she's
the
so
NRA
unimpressive that nobody wants
he's
her.
proud he did nothing on guns when he was president.
She was probably slated, guys, to be taking over at this point.
After another shooting in Iowa recently, he
But there's
said,
no faith in her.
when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Get over what? I was drifting. It's also meaningless.
I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years.
You ain't
because of
taking
this
my
Congress.
gun, man.
We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Oh, assault weapons.
Pass universal background checks. None of this. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years.
I didn't get
None
to
of
buy
this
my
violates
22
the Second
rifle
Amendment
because of these
or
stupid laws.
vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I
Yeah,
know the
Tom,
last
he is
5
going
months have been
dark grinding,
gut-wrenching
right?
For so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know.
Oh, here we go.
1,200 innocent
Somebody interrupt.
people,
Palestinian
women and girls,
protesters
men
now.
and boys, slaughtered
Come on.
after enduring sexual violence.
Oh,
The
fuck.
deadliest day for the Jewish people
Babies,
since the
beheaded.
Holocaust. And
Since the
250
Holocaust.
hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas.
So we're going to have to bend the knee.
I pledge to all the families that we
Israel
will
for a
not
bit.
rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also,
Now Johnson gets up. Yeah, of course. Everybody will get up. When it gets to the money line about Israel, they're all going to stand. It's going to be a real Stalin moment.
we will also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has
Oh.
Israel has a added burden.
I hope you didn't get
because Hamas
some on me.
hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards. Under
Oh,
hospitals,
please stop it.
daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to
Here we
protect
go.
innocent civilians in Gaza.
Okay. All right.
This war
Yeah. Kamala's leading. Look at Kamala's
has
really
taken a
leading
greater
more of
toll
the
on
applause.
innocent civilians than
She's
all
taking
previous
this up.
wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed,
Kamala's running a little
most
left
of
of
whom
the Biden
are not
administration.
Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin. Families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been
Okay.
working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released.
Fucking
To
Blinken.
get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring.
But you're not
The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian
Rashida
assistance to Gaza.
Tlaib and
Tonight,
another woman.
I'm directing
Another
the U.S.
squad
military
member.
to lead an emergency mission
holding up
to
signs.
establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast
Going
of
to
Gaza.
talk about the
It can
temporary
receive
port.
large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of
What? We're going to
humanitarian
just stay in the
assistance
water
getting
and
into
build?
Gaza every day.
This is so weird
And
with the
Israel
temporary
must do its
fucking
part.
pier idea. It shows you how he
Israel
has no
must
control
allow
over
more
Israel.
aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to
Israel's going to fire on our
have a
temporary
crossing in northern
port.
Gaza. For the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip.
All right, this is
Protecting
actually
and saving
good.
innocent lives has to be a priority.
Okay.
As we look to the future,
Oh, look.
the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I didn't expect that.
And I say this
Johnson doesn't like it. So.
as a lifelong supporter of Israel.
Joe doesn't mean
My
it,
entire
but
career,
at least he
no
said
one
it.
has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you.
Everybody knows the idea is
I'm
deader
the only
than
American
Grandpa's
president to visit
dick.
Israel in wartime. But there is no
I
other
credited him
path
for saying it, though.
that guarantees
That
Israel's
was
security and
unexpected.
democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of
He
navigation
needs to tie
in the
in
Red Sea.
Iran in the
I've ordered
axis with us and the
strikes to degrade
Russians.
the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel.
Him mentioning the two-state solution just shows you how much pressure they're feeling over Israel. They are really getting hammered.
For years, I've
From
heard
the
many
young
of my
people and the
Republican and
Muslims.
Democratic friends say that China is on the rise
Oh, God, no, here we go.
and America's falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices.
All of
We're standing up for peace
he
and
just
stability
lurches
across
from
the
subject
Taiwan
to
Straits.
subject, like, right? All of a sudden he's shouting about
Revitalize
China.
our partnership and alliance in the
Fucking
Pacific.
inelegant. Oh, look at
India.
these guys.
Australia, Japan, South Korea.
There's a
Pacific
transgender in there
Islands.
somewhere, I think.
I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that. I want competition with China, not conflict. We're in a
Trump
stronger
living in the
position to win
head,
the
as they say.
conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well. Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills.
You're right, Oswald.
More to pass my
It's
unity
Russia
agenda.
and China.
Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh?
Oh, God.
Pass bipartisan privacy
He's
legislation to
taunting you
protect our
guys.
children
Heckle him.
online. Harness.
Somebody's going to
Harness the
stand up and
promise of
say,
AI to protect us from peril.
name them.
Ban AI voice
Yeah, what'd you say
impersonations and
there, mister?
more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when
Give
they
them
don't.
the gender-affirming care they want when they need it. I am so tired of this shit. I was tired of this shit before it
That's
became this
why-
farce.
The song Support and Help of Dennis and the VA. I
Dennis?
signed the PACT Act.
Me? Oh,
One of the most significant laws ever. Helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H. and remind us
What?
that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will.
What?
Let me close with this.
Ah, thank you.
Yay.
Now, this will be the biggest applause of the night. Yeah.
I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you
So,
get to be my age,
The,
certain things
the
become
left is
clearer
going to
than
love the
ever.
speech.
I know the American story.
He even
Again
said
and again, I've
two-state.
seen the contest between competing forces in the
We'll see.
battle
We'll
for
see.
the soul of our nation.
This is going to be viewed as
Between
a
those who want to
triumph.
pull America back to the past and those who want
This
to move America
crude,
into the future.
cynical speech
My lifetime has taught me to embrace
is actually a
freedom and
triumph by
democracy.
today's standards.
A future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality. To respect everyone.
Decency of a drag
Give everyone
queen.
a fair shot. To give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution.
What?
That's not me. I was born in mid-World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world.
Oh, God.
I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont,
We
Delaware, among
have,
working
we have been
class
kind
people
of
who
revisiting
built this
that
country.
old World War II thing.
I
while
watched
you were-
in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I
Charlottesville.
left the law firm and became a public defender
Charlottesville.
because my city,
Charlottesville.
Bloomington, was the
He's
only
going to
city in
mention
America occupied by
Charlottesville.
the National Guard.
Then Charlottesville
after
happened, and I decided
Dr.
to
King
run
was
for
assassinated
president.
because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by
That's
accident.
coming up.
I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president.
Oh, Kamala. It's good from here, man. From over on this side of the bar, that Kamala girl looked pretty good. No,
My
not that.
career, I've been told I was too young.
Oh,
By
God,
the way,
this
they're
is
going to let
so
me on the
awful.
Senate elevators for votes sometimes.
He's going to go too far
Not a joke.
having.
I've been told I'm too old.
Oh, no, this is.
Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy.
Ugh.
My fellow Americans,
It's like the
the
Democrats.
issue facing our nation isn't how old we are.
It's like they're
It's how
trying to
old
pump
are our
themselves up with this. Right?
Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of
He's not going to call out
possibilities.
Charlottesville.
You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy.
Yes, Tom
We don't
Anderson, we
diminish
are
it.
governed by women.
I see a future where we restore the right to choose
Look
and
at that
protect our
room.
freedoms,
It's a
not
bunch
take
of-
them away.
A bunch of women's and gray hairs.
I
Yeah.
see a future where the middle class,
Us
has
relatively
finally has a
young
fair
and
shot,
vigorous men should be
and
able to
won't
go
have
in there
to
and
pay
just
their fair
take
share in
over, but we
taxes.
don't somehow.
I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all,
I invented the
I
internet.
see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans.
Okay.
I'll always be president for all Americans.
Oh,
Because I believe in America.
Yeah.
I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been
Why do you
more
sound so
optimistic
angry
about
when
our
you
future
say it?
than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I don't think I will be precipitate in predicting that's going to be well received. Even though it was appalling, we saw it unfold. It has some remarkable moments. He was forced to mention Lincoln Riley. He actually said when he was stumbling to first respond to the Lincoln Riley much. I wonder if anybody's going to catch this, but I think he phrased it wrong. But he said, how about the thousands killed by undocumented immigrants or something? Illegal immigrants or something. Maybe we'll go back and look for that. Because I think he actually said that phrase that way. Like he said, I don't think he meant to, but he said, how about the thousands killed by illegal immigrants? Then, of course, he shocked us by turning on his little ode to Israel, October 7th routine, and talking forcefully about Palestinians and mentioning the two-state solution. Yeah.
You was the Baptist preacher tonight.
Oh, stop it.
So what did old Jimmy used to do for you in Delaware?
Okay.
Someplace you'd help and someplace you'd hurt. He looked at me and said, I'll come and campaign for you again. You said I'll help you.
Come on now.
Yeah. Oh, what a wonderful moment for the president, that religious leader. There's Bernie. He's.
Good job. Great job.
Yeah, they're thinking it was awesome, my dad. I think this is going to be so well received by his base. All he had to do was not make a mistake. Yeah, that was the president of the United States.
Great job.
Let's listen.
Get that halftime. That was great, so y'all can get in there.
Look at all these oldsters.
By the way, I've been in constant contact with him. Here's what I worry about with Ukraine. If we pull away,
Oh, he's gonna. So don't go too far, Joe. This is when guys make mistakes. They're riding high after a triumph, but they're still out there. No handlers, right? There's no handlers close by. You can see two guys behind him that don't look like they belong in the room, really, that I think might definitely.
We're going to get a deal done on Ukraine. We have to. Yes. There's no. Good job on the morning. Thank you.
thank you. You give me accountability.
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking with it.
No, I really mean it.
No, really. Thank you, sir.
And this guy with you does too.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Good, it was amazing. You did a good job. You were right on.
Yeah, you were on fire. You were on fire.
Nobody's going to talk about cognitive
God.
impairment now.
You
And
were
there's
on
what's
fire.
his
I
name.
wish sometimes there was cognitive impairment.
There's Joe. Well,
I'm working real hard.
talking to Queasy and Fume.
You fired us all up. Yeah, you fired us up.
Hey, I want you to know the Democratic Party is not
This is our Satyricon scene. The last triumph for Joe. I think this is going to be. I almost feel good for him because I think he's going to go home. He might actually Roger the wife for the first time in a long time. It's just. This is just such a triumph. Even though the speech was You know, like I said, by the standards of just a few years ago, it would have been recognized for this appalling display, right? Where he just came out in a defensive, always attacking tone. Just cited accomplishments and phony accomplishments. The whole tone of the speech was,
I was coming in to make a second point.
I could barely care what you people are talking about. The whole tone of the speech. I mean, the idea, I always come back to this idea that it was a State of the Union speech. I think it's even in the Constitution that, you know, every year the president has to give a report on the State of the Union. And it didn't even feel like he was talking about, you know what I mean? Like talking about the nation, where it is, you know, where it is at this point in its history. There's no sense of that at all. It's just, you know, this tired, immediate political points of fucking contact. And he, of course, did rather outrageously tried to, that is a Secret Service guy behind him, the guy with the bags under his eyes, right? He outrageously made the connection between Putin as evil Putin, their idea of Putin, and us, American dissidents, Hawaiian dissidents, or just any of us, any populists out here. King Kush found the speech inspiring. Yeah. I want to see the reactions. But, yeah, they're feeling good. They're feeling good over there on that side. I think this is, this is Joe Biden's last triumph. I'm going to sniff this hair. Who's this? It's probably Maxine Waters. Yeah, I think that is Maxine Waters. She's from here. She's been a representative from LA since before the Rodney King riots. It's horrible. I don't know why they have two security guys right up behind him. Is that normal even? For the State of the Union speech. I mean, everybody on the floor is supposed to be like Congress critters, and the Supreme Court there in front. Barack Obama caused some controversy when I think it was Barack Obama, when in one of his speeches, State of the Union speeches, he called out directly the Supreme Court about some ruling or other. This speech, I'm sure, would have crossed many lines of taste and decorum from the old days. Said, points a chaotic scene. Biden ranted, like he said, he stayed on script, of course, so it's not his fault, but I mean, he lurched from one subject to another, each one a sort of demagogic, angry appeal. But there were moments where things broke down, too. But everybody seems to think he hit a home run. And certainly expectations were very, very low. I think we're not on the floor, but The concern was palpable before he showed up, I think, among the Democrats that, okay, this might go really bad, you know. And they're really just glad that he finished the thing. And he was forceful.
You kicked ass and took name.
Oh, God, it's so awful. Yeah, this is the state. This is the fallen state of our discourse. We're not serious people, right? And not only is it like lowered standards, everybody's praising that ridiculous speech. And it is in context a victory. I'm saying it is right here too. But just that other countries don't have time for this nonsense. And above all, that Joe's not really in charge. Joe doesn't really have anything to do with anything. And all these reps, too, really, nobody's really in charge. No elected official can go against you know who. Nobody can go against them. Oh, look at you, sweetheart. Yeah, nobody can go against still the syndicate. I'm just going to call it the syndicate. They're just trying to get Joe out of the room. You got the Blues Brothers there behind him, the two guys. I don't know what their role is. Again, I don't know why there would be Secret Service guys, too, behind him. Normally, see, he's got somebody from his cabinet right there. Somebody to turn him away. Of course, there's no threat here. He's just going to walk out amongst friendly people, right? Go through this, right? They're all friendlies. So again, what are the Secret Service guys doing? Just in case he has a medical episode or something. Hey guys, we got him really pumped up on the goodies tonight, so just be looking for that. He might keel over and start frothing at the mouth. It's probably not going to happen, but Visionary thinks a lot of this idiocy was baked in the cake from the beginning. You mean in the American project from the beginning? I certainly don't think anybody anticipated it, right? Nobody, conceiving of this country, anticipated of the primacy of individual rights and how class wouldn't matter. They just took it for granted that poor people weren't going to be deciding things. They took it for granted, perhaps above all, that women weren't going to be deciding things. You know, I mean, it wasn't that recent that it wasn't even controversial. Almost to the 70s, I think, it wasn't even controversial that the idea that there shouldn't be female Supreme Court justices. Could you imagine that? What a saner country, as far as I'm concerned. A much saner country thought. Of course, you don't have lady Supreme Court judges. I mean, come on. Of course, you don't have lady pilots. Yeah, you know, you lost a tiny fraction of good lady judges and lady pilots. But you avoided so much more. I've been reading the history of the civil rights movement in long books. I slow read everything. I'm struck by how the role of women was changed by getting swept up in the civil rights movement and getting treated like the tragedy of the civil rights movement is the model that they adapted for black people in this bizarre combination of post-World War II confidence and absolute panic. The panic inspired by black rioting and shit. That they went after the black civil rights problem with series of really awful laws that wrecked us, like beginning with the 64 Civil Rights Law, into which they inserted the word sex. And so, with just a stupid idea that wasn't even thought of, an afterthought in the 64 Civil Rights Law, including sex discrimination alongside, race, color, creed, was the end. Because it wasn't long that they started defining women as a political class, a political entity, necessarily antagonistic toward men, necessarily competing with men. The fucking dumb bastards, right? Tom Anderson says Sandra Day O'Connor was the first woman Scottish justice. Yeah. So that was Reagan, right? In the 80s, yeah. And she was a Reagan appointee. King Kush says, I love the smell of Aquanet in the morning. Would have been a good joke for Biden. Yeah. But Aquanet smells awful. Sensational spiritual. I was so... Look at these geezers, right? That was just wonderful.
Tonight, this was the most fun I've been to 8 State of the Union addresses in Mississippi.
That old dude is saying, I've been to 8 State of the Union addresses, and this is the best one. Can you believe these fucking people? Look at these old fuckers. Really, I'm sorry. We all those old farts need to be put down. Please, stop. We were supposed to get wiser. God, they all gotta stand there. Kamala waving to her husband.
My wife's outside, so you might see if you have a chance.
We'll give you time. I frame
Is that a really tall woman or a guy? I can't tell.
You say call her Joe. We say President Biden.
Joe is good enough.
Look at
I'll put on the back.
the Secret Service guy still nervously standing aside. Yeah. Joe's last triumph. I feel good for him, yeah. Even a lizard, I don't know, do lizards feel things? Just about every small mammal has that basic set of mammalian sort of crude emotions. But like lizards and stuff? Yeah, I mean, you have guys have pet iguanas, right? Iguana probably curls up on your lap and shit, right? I'm sure they do. They like to be petted. So even Joe has that, has that much in him. Tonight is really his last triumph as a politician. Man, he's lasted. Somehow he ended up president, right? Everybody laughed. And the thing about Joe is it's never really evident that he ever, this is the superpower he has over you and I. It never seemed to bother him that people laughed at him, and he was a joke for years, right? He had the plagiarism charges, in the 70s when he first came out, when he was a rookie senator. He was already catching hell. And Johnny Carson was making jokes about Joe Biden, plagiarism, mini scandal. And it never seemed to affect him. He's like one of those guys that absolutely, he doesn't hear it. And so this old geezer, right? And we see how utterly corrupt he is. He's a great study, man. He is utterly corrupt and stupid, profoundly unwise. I'd say he's sold out his country. The Biden laptop suggests he's always been awfully corrupt, just on a base level, with money, right? And he's always been this most opportunistic politician, early adopter of gay marriage and that shit, early adopter of every bad idea, neo-Scottish in foreign policy, thoroughly Zionist. Arguably evil man. But I think like his love for his family and shit, even his love for that fuck up Hunter, is genuine, right? And who's to say their love of their kids is of different nature than his? You share humanity with that man, whether you like it or not.
We're just going to follow the sergeant of arms this way, sir.
Tom Anderson says Biden apparently seethed over Obama allowing him to sit on important meetings. That's par for the course. Kennedy had Lyndon Johnson for vice president. Lyndon Johnson had come out of the Senate and was they're saying brilliant speech. Yeah, he had Lyndon Johnson as vice president, and Lyndon Johnson was maybe the most masterful Senate majority leader. And he still, because Bobby Kennedy hated and Lyndon Johnson hated each other for one reason, but he still parked Lyndon Johnson over there and did not include him in stuff, did not invite him to meetings, just kept him locked up. And you would think that he would say, oh, it's Lyndon Johnson. He knows all these senators. They're all his pals. He's twisted arms over there, and he's got favors owed over there, right? You would be like, all right, he's our fucking guy to deal with the Senate. But I think they're all just so jealous of power that they don't even want that, because that would make him, too important. That's probably the problem with the vice presidency. You just don't want to give him anything too important. And poor Kamala Harris, she was really put in there probably with a mind toward her taking over for this dope now. But she's been so unimpressive, so uninspiring that now she's going through the humiliation of Joe running again, I think. And she's going to suck it up. And we'll see if the woman could do like Joe did and drive right through the laughter, right through the jokes, right through the common decency, and find her way in the most powerful seat in the House. Of course, again, the joke is these people will not wield real power. They just get to steer the ship, right? It's like, right? It's so funny. Like the president now is a dope. He's the old guy. Okay, we're going to let him come to the helm and actually hold the rudder, right? As if he's, everything else is done for him, but he's going to put his hands on the big brown, whatever you call it, the rudder thing. That's all it is. But it's a great honor to be able to stand there. Oh, this douchebag. There's Blinken. There's Buttigieg. I forget this guy's name. Is it Bennett? He's starting to fall. He's starting to whisper. They're going to pull him. They're going to pull him because he's starting to falter. See the young security guy tried to pull him? And then he had to back way off. All right. Blinken is usually the guy who handles him, too. Blinken is usually the guy who shadows. If Blinken's on the scene, he often will be shadowing Joe and to usher him off before it gets bad. That is so funny. All right. Quachangelo says AOC gets hotter with age. I think she does. I like her. That's why I want to see, the girl boss administration of Kamala and AOC, young AOC. Maybe Kamala will have to stay vice president, and AOC will just leapfrog over her. And the bitchy, catty fights that will ensue will just definitely accelerate things and bring on World War III much sooner. GSP says headlines will be like Biden was on fire. Yeah, no. These people genuinely pleased. I saw it, I thought, yeah, no, they're going to call this a triumph. And yes, it's because, hey, you're about to give me yellow fever, baby. Come on over here. Yeah, I thought, by today's standards, by what the expectations and everything, that was a triumph. It's just sad. It's sad what the nation has come to. No, it would have been a bunch of old white dudes, gray-haired old farts before in dark suits. And it would have been better. It was more dignified. The president's speech would have been more articulate, been more realistic. And it would be about America. It wouldn't be about the political campaign. The whole. What's he talking about?
And when I said, anybody going to cut Social Security, raise your hand. I might.
Enjoy, Joe. Like I said, even a lizard is allowed. It's a warm feeling there.
People are saying you kicked butt back home. They texted me saying he kicked butt today.
All right.
As long as I'm with you, I'm okay.
Hey, and thank you for mentioning the PAC dad.
What's important?
What's that?
My guest is an immigrant Army veteran from the Gulf War. He went from 30% to 100%. His husband now gets benefits.
His
says,
boyfriend's
I didn't do it because of this.
husband's
No.
boyfriend gets.
Packard, he died.
Yes.
He did a quarter-mile from the burn pit for a year.
Oh God!
Yes.
And his children had a shot.
They really need to get him out of the room. He's starting to get that glazed over look.
Yes.
Come on.
And
Really want to preserve this win, guys. Get the old man out of the room. Somebody's saying that right now.
Hi,
Really.
Mr. President.
Love those
In that
glasses.
dude's
I'm looking
ear.
forward to welcoming you to Georgia on Saturday.
I'm coming down.
I know, I'll be with you.
All right.
And I need you to bring that energy with you that you just had tonight.
I got a lot of energy. That's my problem.
Well, we love it.
Thank you.
you. And we're going to bring it home for you on Tuesday.
I didn't do it.
No, you didn't.
I swear to God, I didn't do it.
No, listen, we need some help from the Forest Service. This symbolizes the 86 people that died in the fire in Paradise, California. They made this for me, the residents there,
God, I love
part of the wood that was salvaged. So I said as chair of the Forestry Committee, what I'm asking is that our Forest Service needs to speed up the pace with which we harvest forests and make our communities fire safe.
Oh God, poor Joe.
Just
Look
held
at
a
him.
hearing in South Dakota with the Nyman family. They're going to lose their business soon. If we don't
This
have
poor
them,
guy.
the
He's
Forest
got his
Service
whole
will never,
pitch
ever
for the
keep up
president.
by
And
themselves. They've got to have the private sector. They've got to increase
he's
the
got
pace
this
and
guy in
scale
front of him.
of forestry.
Give him that phone and I'll call
I
you.
appreciate
Let's get the guy's
I've
number.
been there. In North Dakota, too.
it. Yes, sir.
And I've flown over more
Oh,
timber burned to the ground
It's killing the wildlife.
than make up the entire state of the state of Maryland. And by the way,
A million-acre fire in my district.
yes, and by the way, if you notice you fly over in a helicopter, those places with good roofs, they didn't burn.
With the right materials.
Yeah. So we got to change that. Anyway,
We got to cut some trees. We're holding people up to bill. And business too, like Scranton, like folks just like Scranton.
Scranton, PA. That's
Scranton,
the homework.
Scranton.
Yeah.
you want me to sign it or something?
Oh no, I just want you to hold it. Think of the folks.
Thanks, man. I'm thinking of the folks. Some folks I'm thinking of start with Putin.
Not
Oh
those folks.
God.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
That's it.
By the way,
Yes, sir.
the strongest support I have my entire career as firefighter.
He's always got a lozenge in.
Delaware has the highest percentage of volunteer
Is that an old guy
firefighters,
thing?
city, state, and the union. And we have fire school anyway.
We got a ton at home.
Oh,
too,
please,
but we're
I'm
working
just-
Also, we're getting there on getting firefighter pay like that when it's built.
Good.
We'll be good on that.
I mean,
Help our woodcutters, help our forestry.
Just so
Get our forestry.
wearying. The speech wasn't long.
what's your name?
Marissa.
Hey, Marissa, how are
Selfies.
you? Who's this guy?
Oh, God. It's just like a tourist attraction. The president is a tourist attraction.
All right.
That's the role of the president in the future. We're going to take him out in public, and people will take pictures of him. We won't even worry about his safety because nobody's going to think that killing the president's going to make any difference. Oh, hey, baby, come over here. Look at, she's approaching for some hair smelling. Look at her. You can smell my hair, sir. Wow, that's a pretty girl. You see that face? Whoa.
Well, we still have to go downstairs. Still has to take photos.
There's Kamala. He's just faltering now. Get him off the floor, guys. Again, you're risking a win.
Thank you for taking the time to say that, sir.
This was a home run, and you're risking it by leaving the old guy out on the field.
Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate that, sir. Right this way.
Tom Anderson, you are speaking to a Hollywood Marine, sir.
Straight out.
San Diego. San Diego.
Looking good.
So we didn't have the sound, no.
Look like that.
But
I don't know who your habitat.
I told you, let's go shopping.
I'd like to.
Yeah, so this is Lindy, also Team Clyburn. Yeah.
How are you? Good to see you again.
we had the hills. We had Mount Motherfucker. When you pumped through the pack, you had to hump through these little foothills. Yeah. So we had that.
Oh, look at him.
Camp Hill. Mount Motherfucker. Really, it was a haze. That was the worst one. They go, oh, you're going up Mount Motherfucker. Then they told us, you're not even going up the hard side of Mount Motherfucker. You're going up the easy side of Mount Motherfucker. And it was hard, though. It was like, I don't remember finishing Mount Motherfucker. I was so tired that it was like a haze. I just know that, you're supposed to walk in a line and stay, like, within reach of the guy in front of you, and you go humping for miles. No, we did not maintain our line. Yeah, we were straggling when we got to the top. So they were screaming at us. Horrible, harsh words.
Memory, the president outlasted the House session.
All right.
Turned down the lights, and President Biden
Thank you. It comes to a merciful close. What did you all think of that? Yeah, again, what will be taken as a triumphal speech, received well by his supporters. Biden gave an angry speech. He did not falter in his wording or seem sleepy. It was not Sleepy Joe. It was Angry Joe. And every topic was the subject of contention with his enemies. And like I said, early on in his speech, he made the connection between domestic. I even said the domestic threat, that is white supremacy, in sort of alliance with Putin's Russia somehow. I don't know what the connection was, right? But we've seen this before, where they just mention in the same breath two entities. And people buy it. Yeah, Putin and these guys. I mean, after all, there's all these people on the right who've long admired Putin because they see him as a nationalist, a nationalist leader who, whatever his flaws, at least he's on the side of his own people. That's so obvious. So, of course, people, of course, there's someone like Putin, Viktor Orban in Hungary, somebody like this. not Millet, but that guy in El Salvador too. These guys could become heroes for a right-wing revolutionary movement the same way that Fidel Castro and, others like that became international heroes for the domestic threat in America. We could endeavor to become a genuine threat, Mr. Biden. We should. We should threaten them with, I'm not talking about violence. I would never be violent, but we should be a very real threat that, okay, we're going to stop playing fair now, and we're going to engage in lawfare, and we're going to put people in jail. And there's still probably a lot of potential out there for turning the system. If you just get control, you can get those drones out there that are just mindlessly working for the dispensation that's in power, this bizarre left-wing anal fucking dispensation. A lot of these people working for it, they're not invested in it. They're just going on. They really are just conforming. You get those people turned, it might be surprisingly easy, for lack of a better word, to turn that whole system into a system of equal repression applied on the people of the left who are now running things. It would be glorious to just have laws against sodomy and just enforce them and deport all the illegals, right? Just have frank, open discrimination in favor of white people. Just okay, we tried that Constitution. We tried. You threw it out the window and you think, oh, we're going to fight to restore the old fairness that you proved is unworkable. Nah. But that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Because people won't name them. Oswald says, I'm glad I only caught the last 10 minutes, but if he discussed the southern border, I'd want to go back and listen. Well, Biden mentioned the border. It was awful. I guess he was very quickly, he quickly flitted over the border. He mentioned it, and he bitched about not getting that bullshit bipartisan bill passed. They recently, a couple of weeks ago, we're going to tackle the border problem. Again, the whole border problem is self-inflicted. It's just Biden repealing all the policies, executive policies, that is, things the president can do without asking permission, right? Just reversing all the Trump era policies, most notably a policy called Remain in Mexico. He just lifted all that stuff. The only success Trump had, because the whole Trump presidency, really, Congress was arrayed against him too. He had no support. He got nothing done, whatever the case, like in changing the law permanently, just like he didn't get his wall built. But he did have sensible executive policies. He did, it seems like, everything he could within his powers as president. And you see the difference when Biden just came in and just started lifting policies. But I think also there's a coordinated effort. I mean, Mayorkas, the cabinet member behind all this shit, is a former HIAS board, Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society board member. So I think not just that he lifted the policies, but that these guys, as soon as Biden got elected, these guys to put the word out. These assholes, these Immigrant Aid Societies, set up offices in South America and elsewhere. So they're already getting the word as soon as Biden comes in, yeah, we're opening the border. of course, because it was a response to Trump to open the border good and hard after Trump had this relatively sensible policy. Again, the point of all this is we don't need this new law. The new law was just a Trojan horse to bring in a bunch of other stuff, more fucking Ukraine funding for one thing, but also establishing more lax immigration rules, because the law doesn't say, hey, just enforce the law, which means nobody gets to cross the border. Our ideal goal is nobody crosses the border, and we're allowed that, of course. I mean, it's just a question of how much money and effort we want to put into it, you know. But no, we're going to pass a law that says, yeah, so if 5,000 people, like they're counting, right? They have the guy, like the doorman at the club. Yeah. If 5,000 people cross the border in one day, then we stop. So we start stopping everybody. And this was supposed to be a severe, people like Dan Crenshaw bitched that this got rejected because this was supposed to be a good, hard, stern border bill. Fuck these people, man. Fuck them. Oswald asks, do you care more about the border now that you're in SoCal, Dennis? Not really. I don't mind my Mexicans. I feel at home with my Mexicans. Gonna get me a little Mexican cutie. Name them, says Tom Anderson. Name who, man? I don't know what you're talking about. Dan Crenshaw is one of the worst, says Tom Anderson. I will second that. All right. Should we go on? This is actually late for me. I've been keeping some early hours. I don't know. Yeah, Crenshaw's the worst. Anyway, we saw the speech. The speech was the speech. Yeah, I'll be back in just a second. Richard D. James. Aphex Twin. Still my favorite artist. Yeah, Aphex Twin caught some flack recently for COVID skepticism, or just vaccine skepticism. Redditors, Reddit world, all will be Reddit. That's going to be our hell. We're going to be in this, I guess how Reddit is. I don't use Reddit. I never used Reddit. 4chan, all that stuff passed me by. As I understand it, Reddit probably was pretty cool before, and now is just awful, being captured and not really, being woke. And I'm sure Reddit is happy with the president's speech tonight. Any highlights from the address? Asks Media Hits. Well, we've talked about it. It was pretty wild. No, it was frightening. Biden came out and gave an angry stump speech, like a political speech. Stunned us all when he mentioned the so-called two-state solution, which is dead in the water, by the way. But all of us here watching were absolutely blown away that he went as hard as he did in criticizing the Israelis. Of course, it's not going to mean anything. And again, my point is regarding this fucking temporary port to bring aid to the Palestinians, it shows something strange might be happening, that Biden cannot bring Netanyahu to heel. Netanyahu won't let up with the assault on Gaza, and he won't even pretend. And he's not going to give anybody, there's no support for a ceasefire. But Biden's getting squeezed by, you saw it mentioned this, that the fact that he mentioned went as hard as he did in the speech, which I'm not saying is all that hard, is because he's getting squeezed by young progressives, the left, who give them credit, or at least consistent, supporting Palestinians as, poor, beleaguered brown people. I'd say they're consistent. And, a lot of them really take that seriously. I don't. That idea, they're brown people. And they kind of think of Israelis as whites. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that's there, and that's a huge problem for Biden. And as you've seen, the Muslims and really all the non-white, non-Jews are not really, are probably mostly anti-Semitic. I think, or they're unsentimental about the Jews, and they're not going to be moved like this. It's such a weird thing that happens in American politics, where our politicians really, it's almost like they have less room to oppose Israel than a typical random Israeli citizen, right? Who might be there, and there's some there in Israel who are like, no, we're, anti-war, maybe even genuinely, but like they'll march and stuff occasionally, right? Probably few and far between now, but it makes me realize that I wonder if the people in power consider it. Trump was a boon for these people who are running things now. He was a boon because, he's still taken as a huge threat. He's still terrifying them. But the fact that using Trump, and frankly their own hysteria, their own paranoid hysteria at seeing Trump actually get elected, led the powers that be now to advances in repression, to accelerating their probably accelerating long-term plans, right? The long brewing plans, accelerating everything in the way that the Biden administration is an acceleration, right? They just flung the border wide open. They said, yeah, they knew that the Trump thing, the thing that set them off most about the Trump phenomenon was the inherent white racial advocacy aspect of it. So that's why they cranked up, above all, the border and the browning of America. That's totally not happening. It's a total conspiracy theory, right? Yeah, but with Trump, they would have never tried. But Trump led them to desperation to go ahead and clamp down, to go farther than they intended, faster than they intended, and whoa, it worked. And whoa, I mean, and they probably, I wonder if they study it. I wonder if people study it, but somebody should study it. Study the phenomenon of how the public, the left side of the political spectrum, half the country, especially women, were so easily led to support all this insanity out of their fear of Trump, their gut reaction to Trump, their disgust with what Trump represented, which above all what Trump represents, immediately and viscerally he represents is tacky, the tackiest of tacky, that which you're not supposed to aspire to, the outer borough, middle class, bougie, bad. It's like the reaction to Nixon. Nixon was basically a liberal Republican, but coming along as he did at the time that he did, and having the persona that he did, which was this old school from a lost time. Nobody young could like him. And of course, Trump has long established himself as this carnival barker celebrity. And I think that remains the biggest outrage to these people. You see somebody like Bill Maher, who granted is a midwit to begin with, but he persists in treating Trump like this huge crisis, this out of control guy, right? They never say what Trump did. It's always what he said, and it's, well, of course, it's Trump, right? He's ridiculous. And I just wish, one of them would come out and say, yes, I'm making these these sort of world historic decisions, to the extent my vote or support really pushes anything, but still, I'm going to base it on, taste, on the cringe factor or something, but again, what triggered them was the immigration thing. The same thing that when Trump announced his candidacy, I think that was when he said, he made remarks about immigration that were already controversial. But invoking immigration, that was the first thing he mentions, with his campaign, kicking off his campaign. And it galvanized support and galvanized opposition for the same reasons. And not just that these assholes hold it sacred. It's a sacrament, immigration, right? No, that it's implicitly a white versus all the others. And it is kind of us Hawaii's against the world now. It really is. Tom Anderson says, Watergate does not bother me. Does your conscience bother you? Tell the truth. Well, why would I be bothered by Watergate? I'm from California, man. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Ronnie Van Zant. A Southern California man don't need you around anyhow. All right. Tom Anderson says Trump NFTs are unironically a good investment. Is it still a thing, NFTs? GSP has retired. Good night, GSP. You're probably gone already. What about Propane Gate, Tom? Asks Oswald Spengler. Did I miss something? Yeah. Well, we should go out there and see what's happening in the reactions, too. Assange's brother attending State of the Union. Well, that, I think. Somebody interrupted at one point, and I guess we thought he said Marine Corps. Somebody from the balcony, because they have like civilians up in the balcony. And somebody came out and started saying Marine Corps, I think. Maybe he was just a really gudgy Marine. We just saw a State of the Union speech that featured a little talk about the actual union. Really wasn't very unifying. Now, could we watch any of this crap? Can we watch our own show? That would be funny. Let's see how they're receiving it. All right, so this is ABC News.
Ukraine, did that surprise you?
Totally surprised me. I mean, first of all, that's not something voters seem to be at all
My
on their
God,
radar.
the
They're
voice
not
on this
that concerned
woman.
about Ukraine. I mean, they may have that peripherally,
That's what
but
I
this
said,
election
sweetheart.
is definitely not about foreign policy
He
and
ranted
Ukraine.
about Ukraine.
So it was surprising. But then, of course, what the president went on to say is attack his predecessor by saying that, you know, Putin will not stop at the borders of Ukraine if we do not.
And then I think he went on to tie us in with Putin.
His predecessor
Domestic opposition in with Putin.
going. And so he wanted that message, but certainly surprising that he started his speech up that way. But it was very clear why he did that very quickly.
His predecessor, he who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named, yes.
All right, Martha Raddatz, thank you so much for your coverage throughout this day.
It's all
Let's take a
women
live
talking
look now
about-
at the president's motorcade.
Oh, my God.
I think we have that here. Waiting for the president to leave. We were watching.
Yeah. And this is C-SPAN.
Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is undercutting America's workers.
What on the fuck?
China is buying up our farmland,
Senator Katie Britt,
spying on our military
Republican,
installations,
Alabama.
and spreading propaganda through the likes of TikTok.
Oh, fuck.
You see,
This is the Republican
CCP
response.
knows that if it conquers the minds of our next generation, it conquers America.
No way. An ethnic group trying
And
to
what
conquer the
does
minds
President
of...
Biden
Never mind.
do? Well, he bans TikTok for government employees, but creates an account for his own campaign. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. Look, we all
I wish you
recall
weren't
when
wearing that
presidents
cross, honey.
faced national security threats with strength and resolve. That seems like ancient history. Right now,
What is
our
this?
commander-in-chief is not in command. The free world deserves better
Fuck.
than a dithering and diminished leader.
Whoa.
America deserves leaders who recognize
She's as
that
angry as Joe.
secure borders, stable prices, safe
This is Katie
streets,
Britt, Senator
and a
from
strong
Alabama.
defense are actually the
Republican response to
cornerstones
the
of a
speech.
great nation. Just ask yourself, are you better off now than you
I
were
don't know. I was lost
3
in your
years
eyes.
ago? There's no doubt we're at a crossroads, and it doesn't
got freckles
have
on your chest.
to be this way. We all feel it. But here's the good news. We,
This is
the
crazy.
people,
She's
are
sitting in a kitchen
still
somewhere.
in the driver's seat. We get to decide whether our future will grow brighter or whether we'll settle for an America in decline.
Who's this?
Well, I know which choice our children deserve, and I know the choice the Republican Party is fighting for. We are the party of hard-working parents.
This is an interesting
and families.
contrast.
And we want to give you
To Joe.
and your children the opportunities to thrive. And we want
Name them,
families
sweetie.
to grow.
Just do it.
It's why we
Name
strongly
'em.
support continued nationwide access to in vitro fertilization. We want to help loving moms and dads bring precious life into this world.
Why is IVF an issue? I don't
Wesley and I
understand. Joe
believe
mentioned
there is
it.
no greater blessing
the
in life
fuck?
than our children. And that's why
Oswald
tonight,
says she's a
I want to
psychopath.
make a
Of course
direct
she is.
appeal to the parents out there.
This is a bizarre
and
performance.
in particular to my fellow moms, many of whom I know will be up, tossing and
See,
turning
the thing
at
about
2
this-
a.m., wondering how you're
people
going to
go
be
this far.
in 3 places at once and then somehow still get dinner on the table. First of all,
Because we know you're nuts if
we
you can
see
put on a
you.
performance like this.
we
Unless
hear
we buy
you.
it. We
And
know
we
you fuck. You go really
stand
far. You're really
with
full of
you.
shit, you know.
I know
Hey,
you're
Ricardo.
frustrated.
Good to see you, Mr.
I
Williams.
know you're probably disgusted by most of what you see going on in Washington, and I'll be really honest with you.
Look
You're
at
not
this.
wrong for feeling
This
that
is
way.
awesome.
Look, I get it. The task in front of us isn't an easy one, but I can
I
promise
wonder how
you
this
one
will
thing.
land.
It is worth it. So I am asking you, for the sake of your kids
It's like-
and your grandkids, get into the arena. Every generation has been called to do hard things. American greatness rests in the fact that
Yeah,
we
this is interesting.
always answer that call. It's
I
who
wonder
we
how
are.
this is going to be received.
Never forget,
It's brilliant,
we are
fucking
steeped
crazy.
in the blood of patriots who overthrew the most powerful empire in the world.
She's full of shit.
We
but
walk in the footsteps of pioneers who tamed the
she has a
wild.
nice body.
We now carry forward the same flame of freedom as the liberators of an oppressed Europe. We continue to draw courage from those who bent the moral arc of the universe.
No,
And when we gaze upon the heavens, never forget that our DNA contains
Is
the
this live?
same ingenuity that put
No,
man
it's always
on the moon.
pre-recorded, right?
America has been tested before, and every single time we've
I get
emerged
off. No.
unbowed and unbroken.
This is all
Our
coded,
history
man.
has
It's
been
really
written with the grit of men
Like she's
and women
trying to seduce
who
you,
got
right?
knocked down. But we know their
What
stories
if this is overt?
because they did not stay down. We are here.
It's like a guy
because
is supposed to
they
be seduced,
stood
like she's making a
back
pitch for
up.
you.
So now it's our turn.
Yes,
Our
baby, it's
moment
our
to
turn.
stand up and prove ourselves.
Let's have our
worthy
moment,
of
baby.
protecting
See, the guys are
American
getting
dream.
drawn in.
Together, we can reawaken the heroic spirit of a great nation.
And go to war with
Because
China.
America, we don't just have a rendezvous with destiny. We take destiny's hand and we lead it. Our future starts
I'm
around
gonna-
kitchen tables just like this.
In this
with
studio.
moms and dads just like
This
you.
might be her house, though, actually.
And you are why I believe with every fiber of my being
I can feel it
despite
in
the
every,
current
right?
state of our union,
It's all very sensual.
our best days are still ahead.
Yes.
May God bless you, and may God continue to bless
And
these
Biden forgot to give
United
the line.
States of America.
Jesus, she gives a little squeeze at the end.
And
yeah.
that was Senator Katie Britt, Republican of Alabama from Montgomery, giving the Republican
she went too
response
far.
to President Biden's State of the Union address. Both the State of the Union
But,
address and the Republican
I do
response.
not denounce.
We will re-air.
I mean, I
in
don't.
about 20 minutes.
As a performance, I don't know. I think that might have been very effective too. Just like Joe's performance was ridiculous. Hers is an interesting contrast. You know, the angry old man, and then up comes, you know, this attractive woman. Hey, what happened to it? Whoa, what is that? Anyway, that was bizarre. I was not turned on, Ricardo. I was turned on to her message. All right. She made me feel turgid for America. She aroused my patriotism. Yeah. You know, I'm just open to anything at this point. I mean, they're all crazy. They all have to support you-know-who, and they all have to talk bullshit. We missed the start of that. If she was doing her angry routine about China, they're all going to fucking... they're all going to push for war with China. Even if we get Trump in the White House, they're going to try and get us to go to war with China. He might be easily rolled into either going to war with China, as he says, or doing something stupid like going to war on behalf of Israel, because he's still as big a freaking dumbass Zionist. I do kind of hope that Trump feels betrayed by you-know-who. He certainly feels betrayed by Israel and Netanyahu, and that if he came back in, he would deliberately be defiant of their needs. You know, that's something. But anyway, yeah. I have to check out, guys, I'm afraid. We get up early here on the farm and get up before the sun. I'm milking the cows before the cock crows. Yeah. Hey, Ricardo, it's really good to see you. Always good to see Kush, Spengler, Visionary, Tom Anderson. Art Bell was out there momentarily. All good boys, just somewhere along the way they got a little off track. They're all good boys. Good, solid boys. Whoa! We're going to go out. Whoa! We have to play music. Yeah, if anybody's got anything to add, if anybody was as moved as I was by Biden's speech, and then again by the Republican speech, yeah, just let us know. And we go home. We go home now. Thanks.
Suoni abbattenti, suona chitarra mia, suoni abbattenti. Di colpi giusti lo suona tutti da, di colpi giusti suona chitarra mia, di colpi giusti suona chitarra mia. Ruspiti dallo sonno, non più dormire, ruspiti dallo sonno, non più dormire, e non ci dormi qua, e non ci dormi qua, e non ci dormi quando c'ha la bimba male. C'ha bimba mari e non ci dormi quando c'ha bimba mari, un letto di viole, un letto di viole, ci tu facini. cuscini di seta e i lenzuoli sogni arrecamati. Arrecamati e i lenzuoli sogni arrecamati, sono belli gli occhi tuoi e gli occhi tuoi belli sono i fronni d'argurelli e gli occhi tuoi vivaci sono i fronni di Rapido belli che da parlare, va di stui parole, ti lamento li scordà, va di stui parole, ti lamento li scordà. Io battenti, sono chitarra mia, sono chitarra mia, sono io battenti, sono chitarra mia, sono io battenti.